Hello everybody, my name's Robin Harrison. I'm the B2B editor at Clarion Gaming, and I'm here at IGB Live in Amsterdam with Chairman Stevens of the Indian Gaming Association and Victor Rocha of Victor Strategies. How have tribal operators bounced back from the impact of COVID-19?
Impact COVID-19? Yeah, I think a bounce back is something we're excited about because of such a lonely and tough time, but it had a tremendous impact on our economies, because even though you shut down for only a couple months, you built that for years, and then to shut it down and have to try to pay your employees or try to get them back to work, that was devastating to all of Indian country. The tribes in the United States of America, along with our National Congress of American Indians and the National Indian Gaming Association, we worked hand in hand with governments immediately to try to make sure we got those funds in the Indian country to help us to rebound from this. Key tribal government gaming, those folks worked constantly trying to keep their place safe, because as regulators you can't really go home even though everybody else did. So I think once we got back on our feet, they're still wiping those machines in between every play. They're still doing that. And it helped us to the numbers we expected to be at 50%, which was horrible. And it was more about 19%, which is still bad, but nowhere near what we anticipated. A lot of work ethic, a lot of tribes working together, a lot of people helping people, and from our regulators and our administrators all the way down to those hard-working folks who are wiping those machines down, we made it happen, and we're working our way back strong.
Having to close a business that has no locks on its front door is pretty traumatic. So my casino was closed for 2 months, and it was terrifying. But once we opened back up, the tribal casinos became these places where people could come, and they were open before a lot of commercial casinos, and they had very strict rules, and people felt that it was safe to come to the casinos, and so the bounce back has just been miraculous, just incredible. The numbers are bigger than before. If I was just to speculate, I'd go to 10 to 15% higher than before, if not more than that. It's just been really miraculous.
That's great to hear. And now shifting on to gaming expansion. So how have tribal operators adapted to the rise of online betting and to a lesser extent online casino?
For online, I think our folks, and they're a real good administrator, whether it's a man or woman warrior in our history and our work we do. I don't think they ever stop working. They might be able to stay home a few days, or maybe they couldn't go to work, but they never stopped working. So I don't think everything froze in this initiative, especially when it comes to those initiatives. They're so close and they're starting to move. I don't think we really missed a beat. Our people just kept plugging away. Just had to do it remotely or on the computer. Work ethic is something that's very strong in our industry.
And we've also seen online sports betting and iGaming kind of emerging. How do you feel like the tribal industry is adapting to that and adopting those products?
Well, I think I'll let Victor tell you a little bit more about this, but I think that each individual sovereign government has their own right how they're going to move forward. But they've done well in collaborating in their regions and nationally, but they still have their own right. So it's really a part of unity and working together. Sometimes there's differences, sometimes we've got to work through those. But for the most part, not only have we, but we will.
As the tribes have grown as casino operators, it's just obvious this is where we've had to go. And now with the explosion of sports betting across the United States, it's woken up the tribes. There was a lot of resistance in the beginning, but now that seems to really have faded away. Every tribe, they're all seem to be looking at it in one way or another. I'm from California, so we have 2 initiatives on the ballot. The Californians have exclusivity for gaming in California, so the initiative expands that to sports betting, and then the plan is hopefully to have iGaming soon. And so, they're welcoming it. The attitude has changed since the pandemic. I think the pandemic changed everything, about the attitude towards gaming, and when you did have to shut your casino down, there was obviously there's advantages to having an online presence too. So the tribes are definitely moving in that direction.
It's not all a success story. There's still challenges out there, but we did well through considering what the world went through. I think it's important to appreciate that a lot of folks are still not back to work yet, and a lot of struggles still. People put in 20, 30 years, but you just can't make more money. You have to earn it. So as we continue to rebuild, we're getting better. But unfortunately, some folks didn't get back to work yet. So there's still lingering effects in spite of the success we've had.
And then finally, there's been a lot of cases relating to tribal gaming or tribal law that have come before the Supreme Court. Have these helped to solidify the rights of the Native American tribes in relation to gambling?
So there was a recent Supreme Court decision, which I think you're talking about, which was Texas versus Letta, which was a tribe in Texas, and the deal was the state had been trying to shut them down for operating their Class 2 bingo, and the Supreme Court came back and said, if the state has bingo, then the tribes can have bingo. And so that was a really big deal and reaffirmed the tribal sovereignty and the fact that the states can't dictate what the tribes have when they have it. So yeah, that was a real big win. But there's more cases and we're still very cautious. It is America and it has a new activist court, so we're still watching the ball, but there's lots of reason to be optimistic.
I think we go back almost 20 years that we've been helping these tribes and working with them and doing everything we can to support them. We've had lawyers who have been before the Supreme Court that work with us. My team have in D.C. got 3 lawyers available on my team in D.C. So we are ready to go to work. Unfortunately, there's protocols and procedures you have to go to and working that high the law of the land. But from on the ground with Isleta and the folks in Texas, all the way through and all the different other court cases going on, we're going to continue to support our tribes by educating and helping people understand the letter of the law as we see it. Before we didn't have lawyers, now we have lawyers. We always had the oral history, we always had our elders to teach us and hand this down to us, so we know the law of the land. And again, we've been governments since long before there was a United States government, so we know a little bit about the business, but we're never overstepped our bounds, but we'll always be on the front line protecting the rights as tribes.